Hey, welcome to another video of my books that I read and my key takeaways from them series. So down in the description, I'm going to have all the timestamps for all the books if you're seeing something that you are interested in. And in this video series, I share with you the books that I read, my key takeaways, my ideas that I took from these books, generally what I think about this book. It's an unrehearsed video, so I just pick a book from kind of the shelf, stuff that I read in 2021. And for this pile of books you're seeing, just before a few minutes I finished another one for you, so I do like 2 videos in a row. And the idea is for you to find something to read for yourself, to improve your business, improve your life, and I just want to help you, so I would be glad too. And my name is Vova Evans, seller on Amazon, actively selling there since late 2016, still selling there, yes, USA and Canada, so I'm in the trenches of Amazon. And also on YouTube, I do affiliate marketing, I share with you different information, I have Udemy, a bunch of stuff online. I'm happy to meet you, so subscribe and like and all the good stuff. Let's start, right? Let me share some books with you. If you're a bookworm, this is going to be very good for you. If you're not a bookworm, or you're just like reading and you're sometimes reading, so read more, it will help you with everything. So let's start, right? So the first book is this book. It's Iacocca An Autobiography, Lee Iacocca with William Novak. So this book is the autobiography of Lee Iacocca. Who is Lee? I never knew about Lee until Yoni Mazur. He is my friend. He is from Getida. He's the CGO there. Getida helps Amazon sellers get money back from Amazon. So he recommended me this book, and I recommended him the Billy Alford and General Motors, so he kind of recommended me the book from the automotive industry. So again, Lee Iacocca started with Ford. He became eventually the president of Ford after being many years in the company, I think like 30 years, and then he got removed by Ford at some point. It came as a shock to him. Then he moved to Chrysler. Now, this is just in a few words, but this is written really easily, very nice. And what I enjoyed is generally the style of writing, but also the story itself, how he shares his life story. He came as an immigrant with his parents from Italia, right? Maybe he was even born in the US, I can't remember exactly. He definitely grew in the United States, and he grew with Ford, and he did some great things. He, I think, is the father of Ford Mustang. He is kind of obviously he was the big man behind all this, and he did a lot of good things with Chrysler when it was having problems. But it's really easy reading. You can connect to this book and finish it probably in 1 or 2 goes because it's really written nicely. And I recommend you generally reading biographies, autobiographies, because again, it's like cheat codes to get into brilliant person's mind. I believe Iacocca is not with us anymore, I think, and I hope he is, but I think not. But anyway, great read, really easily written, and I really enjoyed. There's some pictures here as well. I like when the book has at least some pictures, right? And just a crazy story of how things happened, how Ford was crazy with Lee. I mean, read this if you're interested in biographies and a bit in the automotive industry. I would really recommend it to you. Next book is obviously awesome. How to Nail Products Positioning so Customers Get It, Buy It, Love It. So Oleg Zeidener, he was a guest on our channel as well. He's from A Navigator, and he recommended me this book, obviously awesome. So this is about positioning, and this was a really book on time because I'm working on a new product for Amazon, right? And also we are launching a product on Amazon. So it kind of helped us to create better pictures for the product because it helps you with positioning. How do you position yourself amongst the competition? So here you have the 5 components of effective positioning: how to instantly connect an audience to your offering's value, how to choose the best market for your product, how to use 3 distinct styles of positioning to your advantage, how to leverage market trends to help buyers understand why making a purchase is important right now. What's interesting about positioning, and something you gotta understand, something I did not understand when I started being a marketer and like online seller, is, let me give you an example of kitchen scissors, right? That's one of the products that we're still selling, but we used to sell much more of it. Honestly, it kind of died off more. But for example, kitchen scissors, right? And you have a bunch of them. But what if I told you can position your kitchen scissors as kitchen scissors that are maybe of premium segment, right? Beautiful box, that's pretty nice and all this premium. But more than that, what if I told you that you position them specifically for vegans, right? These scissors are for vegans, and they, never touching meat, for example, right? That's positioning, right? You can have it in your box, on your messaging, on your video. This will help you when people are checking your listing. Some will go repelled from it. They're like, I'm not ever a vegan. But if you catch the vegan, that's for them is going to be like, oh, he's talking to me, right? That's a very nice way to sort of position your product for a specific audience. Now, there's a lot to it. Obviously, there's just like one example. A very nice book. And also, I recommend you watching my video with also with Yoni about the reimbursements, with Oleg about how to become a niche leader on your niche. He kind of explains positioning there as well. Really nice read. Oleg, thank you, man. And obviously awesome. Next one is Sell Like Crazy. right? Let me see if it's getting there. Sell like crazy. How to get as many clients, customers, and sales as you can possibly handle. Sabri Subi. So this is one of the books that I got through a funnel on Facebook, like a message that I saw, like a video. And understand and identify your dream buyer. So it's like how to take a person on, understand them on a value ladder. So like where they are as a buyer, so who they are as a buyer, what's their kind of buying level is, where awareness of your product is. You can talk different language to different levels of customers, right? There's also different formulas for titles, right? For like, for example, for emails or for videos, and like, for example, how to craft. I'll just do some spoils. Sorry, Sabri man, if I spoil a little bit, but boring is, for example, How to Meet Men, right? This is a boring name of a book, right? For example, or an article, How to Meet Men. Yeah, so maybe somebody will click it. But then if she sees something like Make him beg to be your boyfriend in 6 simple steps, this is something that is much more interesting, right? That's irresistible, even what he calls it. So different things, and there's the Sabri Subi 17-step secret selling system, and I can really share a lot of things, but how to get traffic as well, right? How to do retargeting, like, or what can be done with retargeting, so to say. How can you understand who's in buy mode, who's not? How to see the large market formula. So for example, who's ready to buy now, who's in information gathering mode, who's in problem aware, who's not problem aware. Wow, very nice book for internet marketers, right? For, I would say, for Amazon FBA, or for definitely for info marketers, this will be really nice for you, because it will really help you get as many clients as customers as you can possibly handle. Did it help me do this? Well, it definitely did help. I honestly did not do everything maybe that he mentions in the book, right? And I gotta be honest with you, like sometimes when I read something, there's some things to do. Not all the time I do all of them, right? Being honest with you, like, but sometimes I do, and many times I do, and this is better. But also he shares some ads with you, different types of like Google ads that work, right? So it's really nice. There's like practical things you can take away from this book, not just how you call it, mumbo jumbo, like motivation, which is also good, but take it. Warning, this book will flood your business with clients with torrential downpour of buyers. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but that sounds like a lot of buyers. Next one is Man the Puppet, The Art of Controlling Minds by Abram Lipsky. So pretty much what it says, and it's not as maybe as voodoo shudu as you would think, like mumbo jumbo, controlling minds. It's more understanding like human psychology, all right? And here he just written in this way, but if you understand human psychology on hopefully on a good level, you can sort of control minds, if you can say it this way. But it's really interesting because it's an old book. I think this was written, I would say, maybe 100 years ago, right? No, it says actually 2014. No, 1925. Like, okay, that was a big, oh, it's 1925, but we have table of contents, so public opinion, moral making, education, myth and illusion, psychotherapy. So again, a book that will help you with understanding crowds, understanding market, again, awareness levels of buyers, and hopefully helping you sell more products to your audience and making them better, their lives better with your products, but also understanding how they want to be sold to, and generally how to understand not only crowds better, but definitely, or generally people, how to understand people better. I like reading old books because there's a lot of wisdom, you know, because many things have already been done, so to say. This is a really nice book, Man the Puppet, The Art of Controlling Minds, for your marketing. Next one is The Nuclear Effect by Scott Oldford. So 6 pillars of building a 7+ figure online business. So again, that's sort of, I don't know why, I think I bought them actually in the same time with Sabri Subi, Sell Like Crazy, but it's a good book for any marketer, right? Again, we talk here about sales, product, operations, and team, right? He explains about 6 pillars that kind of he talks about them. What is omnipresence, for example, for online marketers? So you might see me on YouTube, you might see me on Facebook, right? You might see me then on LinkedIn, right? I'm omnipresent, so to say. I'm not really, but like in some way I am, right? So that's pretty cool for a brand to be omnipresent because it's here, it's there. Coca-Cola is everywhere. You see it there, here, boom. You're drinking Coca-Cola, what the hell? Right? So there's like about sales again. So again, this is one of the books that I got in a free plus shipping funnel. You know, when they offer you a book for free, but you got to pay for shipping. So I think I paid, because I live in Israel, it's a bit more, but in the States you can get these for like $10, sometimes even less. There's like upsells to it, but a nuclear chain reaction is one of the most powerful forces known to mankind. Its energy feeds other reactions, creating endless possibilities for self-sustaining growth. Imagine harnessing this kind of energy in business. What if you could create your own nuclear effect? So again, nice book about sales. As I mentioned before, a lot of cool ideas for salesmen, and yeah, like omnipresence for like finances, how to understand your money better with your business, hiring, and like understanding who to hire, how to hire. I think it's a nice book. I really enjoyed like the product part here, like understanding how to nail with your product, how to deliver value to our market, how to understand what is high ticket sales. So it's nice for info marketers, but also any marketer with physical product will also find it useful. Next book is pretty awesome because it's called The $1 Billion Whale, and my friend Datle, he recommended me this book, and this is a crazy story, right? It's actually a real story of somebody who did, like, from Malaysia, I think this guy was. He, let's say just straight, he kind of took a lot of money, right? A lot of money, like more than $1 billion. In this book, it's shared how he fooled the man who fooled Wall Street, Hollywood, and the world, right? So the epic story of how a young social climber from Malaysia pulled off one of the biggest financial heists in history. Here's by Bill Gates. Bill Gates says, a wonderful read, thrilling. So it's a fun read, right? It's a bit different from what we've seen before. Before it was a tactics, positioning, although there was the biography. But this is more like a story. Really fun read about a guy just like doing crazy things in terms of how he pulled, like, leverages connections, and I would even say how he manipulated all sorts of things just to gain a lot of money and a lot of influence. But I wouldn't do it this way because it's not in my moral compass, but to read about that was really nice. I'm really grateful for that he explained it to me. That is from our mastermind, a very talented and smart guy. That, if you're watching, good to see you, man. But yeah, great recommendation. And like, it's crazy. You can see like familiar names here, like Paris Hilton and like many other people, and he got connected to all of them, and he did a lot of manipulations to sort of get money from here to there to there to there to his pocket eventually, and seems like he's still free somewhere. So The $1 Billion Whale, I would recommend you this book. It's a fun read, and it's connected again to finances, but I think anyone can read that route. Next one in Hebrew. It says, זה לא רק כסף, אדם רשוע. זה לא רק הכסף. It's not only the money, right? 7 principles for, like 7 getting rich principles that make him like being financially free before 20. So look, again, this is for those of my friends who are speaking Hebrew, but this guy appeared a lot in YouTube ads here in Israel. Like, he bombarded YouTube ads. He made a lot of money in info marketing, really young, like 17, 16. And I saw him, right? A lot of times. Many got very kind of, they didn't like him, right? They got really pulled off because he was just jumping everywhere. He was really strong with YouTube ads. I think before it got mainstream here in Israel, like with info marketing or something. And he made a lot of money, and he shares a story. He's a kid, like he's like 20 years old, but as I connected to another book I mentioned before, another person like Kevin David from another one of my reviews playlist that might be a bit controversial personality in in some industries and some communities, but still, this guy is really young, and he did what he did. He's a super entrepreneur in terms of like doing that in the early age. Some people can say he did it in different ways. Maybe he was this and that. I don't know. I don't really judge. I think he bunch of money through info marketing, selling courses, which is completely fine. This is a book that he shares his story. I really wanted to see what he's all about, and it was interesting reading honestly his story. So I think big respect for a child, not a child, for a kid who's 20, and he did so much in his life. And I hope that he actually did understand that it's not only the money. Money is nice, but it's you can't portray, or how you say, your self-worth or connect your self-worth to money. It's not even something you should do at all or should be connected. I mean, again, you can. Should is like a word. You should, and it doesn't really matter. Maybe somebody will be more happy or more successful this way, but generally it seems like money is money. It's just something spiritual generally. It's an idea mostly, right? But I like this book. For my Hebrew friends, I would recommend reading that. And the guy is talented, very young, very successful in this, at least in the monetary space. Next one, also in Hebrew, it's The Lean Startup by Eric Rice. So this is essentially very essential book in my opinion for entrepreneurs that are launching product. And the big idea I've gotten from this is like, you gotta launch faster, right? You gotta launch faster. Of course, don't just launch without thinking, but the marketplace is changing so fast, and you just gotta bring products out there, sometimes that are not 100% good, but you'll get the feedback from the audience, but rather do it faster. So the Lean Startup essentially explains to you how you can create successful businesses in the new world, right? The book is about 10 years old now, but I think it will still be connected to what it is today. He talks about pivoting also. Sometimes you got to change direction a little bit. Maybe you started as positioning your product for vegans. You see there's no feedback from them. They're not buying or something. Boom, you pivot to maybe a different line of products. So there's a lot about how you can, as an entrepreneur in the today age, be successful. Again, take it to physical products, take it to digital products, anything. The Lean Startup, I would really recommend it to you. Of course, you can read it in English. This one is in Hebrew. Very nice book. I really enjoyed it. I think it's very nice for any entrepreneur. Next one is How to Be a Capitalist Without Any Capital by Nathan Latka. 4 rules you must break to get rich. Here it is. He says focus on the skill, wrong. Be unique, wrong. Focus on one goal, wrong. Appeal to the masses, wrong. It's interesting. He has his own, so to say, way of doing things. He gives really nice ideas for, as you mentioned, how to get rich, right? And a bit different ideas on how to make money. He mentioned real estate here. He mentioned generally how he connected with people, how he cold emailed some people, how he was able to buy some sort of software that had a big email list and was selling for cheap. That's a nice idea, right? Different things, how he was able to buy houses for low money, how he was able to travel for free as an influencer. I would recommend it to any entrepreneur, be it physical products, again, internet marketer with courses, whatever you are, my friend. Hope you're doing great today, by the way. Yeah, he's also pretty young. I think he's my age, 30, something like that. And he has some top 100 Facebook groups for entrepreneurs in the end. By the way, I saw Amazon FBA Ninjas, which is the book, it says group by Kevin David that I mentioned before. It caught my eye. Sometimes when you think about different things, it catches your eye faster. When you buy a new car, you want to buy a Ferrari, suddenly you see Ferraris everywhere. Not in my town probably, but it's okay. Let's continue. The next one is $1 Million Brand by Matt Clark. Build a profitable brand you own, create your dream lifestyle, and achieve financial freedom forever. So this is one of the funnel books to kind of being really honest here, but to invest in the Amazing Selling Machine course. But it's an interesting book for those who want to understand on kind of surface level how physical brand works through the internet, how you can do it through Amazon. Very interesting things, how you can buy it on Alibaba. You have the pictures here, you have the Amazon search engine here explained a little bit, some ideas how you can promote your product, some Facebook ads. He talks about ManyChat even. I think it's a pretty nice read for those who are beginning with Amazon. Even for advanced sellers, it might be cool, but mainly it's built to, I think, as a funnel, so people read that, then they can later purchase the course and get into more coaching by Amazing Selling Machine or Amazing, Matt Clark, and all the other friends there. You can read it, it's pretty nice. I enjoyed reading it. I think I read it in the gym while doing my cardio. I think I mentioned in the previous video, I do gym, cardio, I do bicycle. In that time, I read, and that might sound weird to you, but if you can work on your breathing as needed, you can work strong with your legs, you can also read. And I'll tell you what's interesting. Sometimes they say that, when you're doing the cardio, not connected to this book now, but when you're doing cardio, you are investing some, power and everything is moving and you're right? And you're in survival mode in a way. You're in a fight mode in a way because your heart is moving. And some people say that the things that you might be in that moment getting inside your mind might be gotten absorbed very well because you are in very aware mode. You are very aware and all the things you're reading might be, again, being absorbed well. But again, take it and try it because I've been doing that for quite a long time. It's not that easy in the beginning. The music is playing, there are people talking, but if you know how to isolate it, it saves you, you can extra 30 minutes you can read and take it to many different sessions of cardio. You are going to finish many books. All right, next one is one of my probably favorite, honestly, books. It's called Around the World in 80 Girls, the epic 3-year trip of a backpacking Casanova, and by Neil Skywalker. Again, so a few things about this book. First, it's one of the books that kind of gave me inspiration to go and travel the world. Back in 2014-15, I did 1 year of travels around Asia with a backpack. Each time I talk about it, I get shivers, you call it, right? It's probably one of the best times of my life. I was just with a backpack, nothing, no job, nothing, just traveling and having fun. But also, as maybe if you've seen my previous book reviews, you can have the link in the description to see the playlist of other books. The game, right? So the game is essentially, meeting women and approaching them and creating some relationships, sometimes leading to sex or sometimes just having, it depends, right? But what I'm saying is this book really inspired me because I read it before my trip. again, this is very controversial book. When you're going to be reading it, it's not written in a good language. There's some mistakes here, a lot of cursing, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. It's a pretty good read. And also there's like 50 pages of tips and tricks on picking up girls abroad. Look, again, it's interesting. He travels, I think, 3 years through a lot of countries, through all the continents almost. And he shares his travels and also the like different women he meets and sleeps with and all this, the stories connected to that. If you want to know more, I can share like with you if you have questions about that, but game, like approaching, this, it's interesting because again, before I got involved in this, I was a bit more shy, right? A lot more shy. And then I had to break this, right? I had to approach, go and alone to bars, to clubs, and to approach girls because I was really shy and insecure. So I was able to break this by actually doing things. That's how things happen, usually by action. But that's a very fun book. Again, it's quite repetitive, but I don't know. I think I read it about 3 times in my life, and it's not a small one. By Neil Skywalker. Again, you might not like some things that are happening in this book. For some, maybe for girls, it's gonna be a bit like, hey, like this is kind of strange or something. But I don't know. I really enjoyed this book. 3-year trip of backpacking Casanova. I don't know if I'll call myself a backpacking Casanova, but I have had a pretty crazy 1-year trip around Asia and I had a lot of good time. So I would recommend this book, even if you're not traveling, if you're not a backpacker, just understand. And of course, and if you're a guy that's a bit struggling, definitely would like talking to girls, definitely read that. Next one is Content Incorporated. Content INC. Start a content first business, build a massive audience and become radically successful with little to no money. So generally the way I've built my business through YouTube is through content marketing. And I also have a blog now, which you can find at vovaevan.com. But this is a really nice way to build any brand, physical brand, personal brand, by content, by creating videos, by creating posts, and that's free, right? You can do it on your own and you can create a business, but you need to understand how, where, when, select your channel, understand like what channels are available, how to do it, how to grow on YouTube, how to grow in different places, how other brands do it. So that's a nice book. I would recommend it to you. I would recommend it to anyone that wants to get better with their content. Content Incorporated. Next one is Tonya Reiman. Okay, that's in Hebrew here. It says Yesodot Sfaragov, the basics of like body language. So I think that's a very nice book. I really like these things because it's good to understand the body language of people. So if somebody is usually like this is like honesty, like I'm honest, like I do it in Autopilot. I think, I'm telling you, well, I'm honest. It's so true. Like, cause this is, but if you're aware of that, right? When you want to emphasize honesty, you can say, hey, look, I'm honest with you. It just emphasizes the point. Or like, if you can see someone standing like that, close position, right? They don't want to be approached right now. Or maybe if you're approaching like, hey, you seem a bit like tense. So you good? Like, you know what I mean? Or many different things, right? And sometimes you can say with eyes, sometimes, or somebody touches their nose, they're lying. That's not exactly right because, sometimes it might be just, something is bothering you there, right? But with the basics of body language, you can understand different things, right? And I really recommend you this book because you can understand and you can see how others react to you, right? Again, if it's guys, I mentioned before with the Around the World in 80 Girls book, right? So if you, approach a girl and you see her like starting doing some things with her hair like that, or like starting to kind of get herself ready, seems like she's interested in you. She likes you, at least based on the physical appearance that you give her. She's starting to kind of get herself together. You need to watch these things. Some people are totally unaware of that, right? So that's interesting, right? And the more you are aware of that, the more interesting you can have conversations with people and understanding people better. Maybe some of your relatives is not feeling that good and you're totally ignorant to all these signs. So sometimes if you know them, you can actually help them, so many different things. I would recommend you reading this book because it will help you to be a better communicator. It will help you to understand better other people. It will help you understand better what's going on with people when they're talking with you. Next one is Customers for Life by Carl Sewell. How to turn that one-time buyer into a lifetime customer. The book of the year. Sewell's approach to service will work equally well for companies big and small. I encourage you to dig in, chuckle, ponder, and take action now. So I think, if I can remember, he was in the automobile industry. Yeah, he built his auto dealership into a near $1 billion business. So yeah, he was a pretty successful guy. And he explains how to do good customer service, how to have great customer relationships with your customers. So Customers for Life. Now, recently I had a customer on ManyChat on Amazon. one of our products we sell in the barbecue niche, it sort of broke. I think that was the problem. And of course, I told her, yes, I acknowledge the problem and this and this and that. And I told her, should I send you some replacement? Do you want one of our products, or how can I help you? She's like, you know what? Do you have maybe gloves, like barbecue gloves in your product line? I'm like, well, we don't, but you know what? I'll get you some good gloves. So I went to Amazon, I bought the best pair, and I told her like, hey, you know what? Here are a pair of one of the best gloves on Amazon, enjoy it and, be happy, right? And she's like, wow, thank you. That's, I didn't expect that. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, my pleasure. And honestly, my pleasure. She's like, what can I do for you? I'm like, you know what? The negative review you've shared with us is like, I would appreciate if you could rethink it and all this. And she's like, yeah, of course. And this, I appreciate the woman, right? She's pretty cool, right? But what I'm saying is customers for life. So hopefully she's going to stay a customer, because I really wanted to help her. So in this book, you're going to see many different ways of how to actually make a customer stay with you for a long time, right? How to become or make someone become a customer for life. Not only customer service, there's also how to sell, how to increase your sales, and a lot of things, right? A lot of things here. I really recommend you this book. It's really going to help you with your company, no matter what business you're running. So get this one. 5% More by Michael Alden, right? Yes, to achieve extraordinary results. So making small changes to achieve extraordinary results. Let me give you an example. I think I gave it in the previous video, so I'll give you a different one. I give one with reps on the gym, but maybe, let's take it to to approaching women, right? Let's take it to Around the World in 80 Girls by Neil Skywalker. So for example, if you go out as a guy, again, I'm talking to guys here, girls, take it as you wish, but I'm being honest, so for example, as a guy, you go out, you want to meet a girl, you want to get in a relationship, and you're struggling with this, right? So you go out, you meet a girl, or so say you go out one day, you go out for 30 minutes, you approach a little bit in a bar, a little bit outside, well, nothing really happens. What if I told you that tomorrow you can go for 35 minutes? In the day after that, you can add 5 minutes or even 1 minute to that and go consistently over time. With time, you're going to be going out for longer times, right? And obviously, hopefully your success to getting into a great relationship, right, to making some girl happy and yourself, of course, is much higher, right? But so that's the idea of 5% more everywhere, 5% more. You're doing, 100 videos a year. Next year, do 105, right? And then from 105, add extra 5%, the compound effect, right? And then 105, 5% extra is already not 5 more, it's maybe 7 more, right? You know what I mean? So from 100, 5% becomes 105. 105 with 5% becomes, I'm not sure how much it becomes, something like 112, for example, right? So a little bit more. 112 with 10% becomes already 124, something like that, for example. This book explains it, gives different ideas, different examples for this. Do more a little bit all the time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. With a marathon, you will be the winner. I'm telling you, in business, at least from, again, not a big businessman, not anything like that, but again, was able to quit my job, was able to achieve some good results in different spheres of my life. And it was always getting out, doing more, not stopping, doing a bit more every time, getting a bit more effort consistently. Good things. Next, continue. Relentless by Tim S. Grover, From Good to Great to Unstoppable. Here's a foreword by Kobe Bryant, or not you for like praise or something. This book was sent to me by our mastermind, or EBB mastermind. I think all the members got it, along with a nice hoodie. So what the hell is that book all about? This is a really nice book to read if you are feeling that you can do great things, hopefully, in your life, if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to achieve extraordinary results and become unstoppable in your craft. And he gives different things here, right? He shares different people, he goes with cleaner, right? He shares different players in NBA, how they reacted to things, right? A cooler thinks about what he's supposed to think about. A closer thinks, analyzes, and eventually he acts. A cleaner doesn't think at all, he just knows. Now, different things, like he gives like an example of who a cleaner is, right? A cooler does a good job and waits for a pat on the back. A closer does a good job and pats himself on the back. A cleaner just does a good job. That's his job, right? So if you want to be a cleaner sort of person, read this book. And even if you don't want to be, read this book. You want to see how maybe, again, from Tim's perspective, how the big guys do it, how they work. Yeah, it's a good book, in my opinion. Relentless. Be Relentless. There's also a good, if you're interested in meeting women, there's a good book called Be Relentless by David X. By the way, David X passed away, but I think in this community, he was a very respected guy. And I think, again, for the girls that are watching, this might be something that, this is something different to you or something. But for the guys, again, because I know I've struggled in this, for the guys that are watching, yeah, you can go and read some of this, because I know how it feels. Again, I'm taking this back. It's one of the previous videos also. I was like, I was talking because this is so interesting topic in my life. And if you're struggling and you do want to attract great companion to your life, and you gotta do something about it, right? And sometimes you gotta see coaches who can help you with that. But sometimes, or generally, you just have to go to the fields, just go and talk and approach. Yeah. Next one in Russian here. Хочу и буду by Mikhail Lapkovsky. Принять себя, полюбить жизнь, стать счастливым. So kind of accept yourself, love life, and become happy. So it's like a self-help book. I have a funny story about that book. So the other day I was in Thailand. I was living there in Hawaii. I went for like a night out to Bermuda, so like a bar there, a dance bar, literally like 10 minutes walking from my house. It was really nice. You can have a few drinks and never go on a scooter. I meet this girl. We're sitting on a bar. We're talking, and we got kissing or something, but nothing really worked. Right? We never really, I don't know, and then at some point, I don't know, maybe I don't know what happened really. Show me, you know what, you should read this book, right? And I haven't read it for a long time, but this stayed in my mind. When you get rejected, sometimes things stay well in your mind, being honest with you. And then she told me, you gotta read this book. So I'm still not sure why exactly she told me to read this book. Maybe she mentioned that, maybe I don't know why. Maybe I need to read it, but it's like a self-help book in a way to better understand yourself, how things that you are doing are connected to your childhood, about relationship, about having children, about many different things. So this is again in the Russian language, of course, but I think it's a nice self-help book to those who just want to understand themselves a little bit better, why they're doing things in a specific way. So yeah, that's a nice book. Хочу И Буду. Хочу И Буду means like I want and I will. I don't know. Maybe she wanted me to be more wanting and willing. I don't know, but never worked with this old lady. So I hope she's doing well. Next is a very nice book. It is called The Choice. The Choice, Even in Hell, Hope Can Flower. So I think it's in the previous books I did today is a book by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. So this is somewhat familiar. So The Choice, Even in Hell, Hope Can Flower. Wow, I read this, I think the first night I read like half of this book, because it was so good. Wow, this is such a nice book. So as you can see here, it's kind of similar, to the one with the Man's Search for Meaning. So you can see Auschwitz there, the rail tracks, and some beautiful yellow flowers. So this is a story of Edith Eger, and her story of getting inside the concentration camp, surviving the Holocaust, her childhood, but not only. It's like she became a healer, right? A psychologist and I think a psychiatrist as well after the war. And the thing is, it's also like explaining how with strong mindset she was able to survive hell on earth pretty much, and how she went and helped others to survive their hell on earth, but also how it was hard for her as a PSTD, I think it's called post-trauma, right? Traumatic experiences she had. I really recommend reading this book because it's not only her story as Edith, which is a really interesting story, but also in the end of the book, she kind of, when she finishes, she explains how different the people came to her and what sort of problems they had and what she had to say to them, how she cured them. It's called the last part is called Healing. Wow, it's a really strong book. I really recommend you. It's really hard to read sometimes. The story of how she went through like the Holocaust and everything. One of the best books I read this year. The Choice. Read it. It's gonna help you get some perspective on your life, and I think it's just gonna help you to become a better version of yourself generally, and just have a good read. Wow, even hell, hope can flower. For sure. Next one is Malignant Self-Love, Narcissism Revisited by Sam Buckner. Narcissists, psychopaths, and abusive relationships. It's also a pretty big book. I'm not sure, 1,000 pages maybe, or 700, 800. If you ever known someone that, or sometimes you lost yourself, you kind of didn't understand what was happening in your life, you kind of lost your identity. It's a bit weird to talk about that, but sometimes it might be connected to people you have in your life that might have narcissistic personality disorder. It's really hard to say when you understand it or how, but this book, it was not the first book that I read in this, because in my life I discovered that, some people literally have this thing called narcissistic personality disorder, and then I learned that I've attracted these people quite a few times in my life. I don't know, if you ever want to talk to me about that, you're welcome to private message me if you're feeling like you understand what I'm talking about, but this book can kind of help you understand a bit more about these people, like what they are, how they cope with reality. There's a lot. There's like, wow, there's so much. It's a huge book, right? It took me a while to finish it, right? It's not an easy one, but you're gonna understand a lot about narcissism, the victim of narcissism, narcissistic mothers, fathers, covert narcissism, like overt narcissism, how they treat, how to treat children, what they have inside of them. It's a good perspective to read this book, and I guess it's hard to explain sometimes to people like what is it all about. But if you've been like a victim of narcissistic abuse and you feel like something is wrong with you, something is wrong with some people in your life, try reading about narcissism. This can really help you. I'm telling you, this can really be healing for you because it can be really disastrous to you. Yeah, so go out, but healing exists, right? It exists. You can heal from that. And awareness is one of the things. You gotta be aware. I guess at some point with my life and my experience, I just got on the awareness. And then I just started learning more about this. I started watching videos. I read a few books that are connected to that, and read it. This is gonna help you if you will feel like you need help in that sphere. Let's get on a funner note. Yeah, it's happening the second time. Let's see if we have still our sound with us. Yes. Yeah, it was a heavy book, that one. Yeah, definitely it is. So the next one and the last one, it's the Barefoot Investor. So this is nice. This is the only money guide you'll ever need. So I'll tell you this thing. When I read this, I read it this year, so I've got to say that my finances got better and better with the years. But if you want to improve your financial situation somewhat, then this can help you. In the basic things, like how to remove some debt, how you can get out of debt, how you can remove some unnecessary payments. So if you're like drowning with your money, so to say, this can help you. And this is connected to Australia, right? This is connected to a guy living in Australia, but even living in Israel, it gave me some perspective on how I can improve things. Sometimes it got me like more ideas on that I can negotiate with banks. And it just shows you how to lower down percentages you're paying on things. It's like a basic money guide, and I think it's nice. This year I also started investing in crypto. Actually, crypto started 2017, then I did a long gap because I didn't have money to invest. But this year I had more money to invest, so I invest in crypto, in stocks. I invest about $300 every month in crypto and stocks, sometimes a bit more. If I feel like Shiba Inu is about to explode or something, and then it goes down, but Shiba Inu to the moon. No, but I have different investments in crypto. Like I have Bitcoin, like Ethereum, like Solana. I don't know. Honestly, I don't really understand what I'm doing, like, to be honest. But with these books, I'm beginning to be a bit more in the understanding the game. This is less about investing, although it does also explain about investing, how, if you invest a little bit in a long time with a compound effect, actually turns into a nice fortune, this. So all the books fell, but up here I'm going to leave you the playlist of my other kind of this similar type videos about, so to say, book reviews. Really enjoyed making this one for you. Respect you a lot. Hope you're having a great day. And check out the playlist here if you want to get more books to read. And I got to clean up the mess now. Bye for now.